Welcome to Culture Digger, and this is the first episode. We're starting. Today we're gonna talk about acoustic and electric guitar and the challenge between them. We'll try to discover which is more popular nowadays. And the most important for me, we'll try to figure out why the sales of electric guitars keep falling. And finally, we drive our podcast. But why we? I drive my podcast. My name is Sandy Riffs, and you're at the Culture Digger, the podcast about cultural phenomena, architecture and design, decades reviews, and many other interesting stuff that I'll try to deliver. This episode doesn't have a goal to promote some type of guitars, to recommend you buy some. That's not a tutorial how to choose a guitar. You have too many articles in Google for this. So, let's continue. Guitar is one of the main musical instruments of nearly last 100 years. But when we say this word, everyone imagines maybe different pictures. For some it will be acoustic instrument with a big resonating body, and for another it will be electric guitar with a solid thin body and electric pickups and some bright finishing, whatever. Some with this word can hear flamenco or classical music playing in their head, and another got blues or heavy metal. I would recommend you to read in a free time one nice Washington Post article by Geoff Edgers called Why My Guitar Gently Weeps, The Slow Secret Death of the Six-String Electric, and Why You Should Care. It was released in June of 2017, but still stays actual. The slow secret death sounds scary. Why so dramatic? Why so sad? Why this news? Sorry, and right now we are really ready to continue. I choose this topic for our discussion because the news that I found in this Washington Post article really shocked me. Electric guitar is not so popular as before, and in my opinion, as I hear it in my mind, as always, as forever. When I was a kid, I thought that electric guitar is a really cool thing, and nothing can be cooler than electric guitar. And then bam, and you know, a really reverse information that it loses its popularity. To find out why it can be, we should go back to the origins of the electric guitar and of the acoustic guitar. So starting our historical review for this musical instrument, we should remember that classical guitar that we know as Spanish guitar right now, established maybe in the mid of 19th century, and it took a rather long way for the Spanish classical guitar to make path from national or classical music to the popular music. But if the Spanish classical guitar became really popular and was used in different genres, why there was a need of invention of the electric guitar? So just players wasn't satisfied enough with this Spanish guitar. Why? Because it was not so loud. Classical or Spanish guitar, even if you put some metal strings on it and armor neck, you won't get some really loud sound that will allow you to play in some orchestra or band. Guitar needed amplifying, it wasn't still invented. But what was invented at that moment? At the real beginning of the 20th century, there were octops. There were really big classic guitars. Octop, it's kind of jazzy looking guitar with F holes like violin has. You really saw this. So for my opinion, it was really difficult for any musician to play such fat strings. The industry really needed some rescue tool from all these sufferings and to give an opportunity to cut the mix. And sorry, I made a mistake saying that electric guitar were invented in 20s. That's not correct. First electric guitars were invented in early 30s, and only after 1935 you could really buy a guitar from the many manufacturers like Dobro, Gibson, Epiphone and others. Only after this moment all these poor jazz musicians could get a really loud sound. As soon as electric guitar gets the market, it becomes really popular, but that was not that electric guitar that you used to see in movies, on the concerts. It was a hollow body acoustic guitar, octave, but it has a pickup on it, which then converts to the electric signal, and wow, we have that guitar sound. Not exactly. That guitar sound that many thought about exists after the invention of distortion and overdrive first. In 30s and after 1935, we won't see some real changes in musical scene of that time. We won't see really breakthrough musical genres, but when the solid electric guitar comes out, it changed everything. Leo Fender made his Fender Telecaster, and then Gibson made their Les Paul model, and these guitars changed the market, changed the music scene, and developers of guitar effects make possible to get a really extraordinary breakthrough. In 30s we can see the development of jazz and blues, but with the solid electric guitar, blues takes another gear if you want, and the blues becomes the platform for another musical genres like rock and roll, and then classical rock is going, and then we have funk, and then we see soul, then we can get heavy metal. Too many different music. Every decade we have few more musical genres, few more musical legends. We have too many great musical groups, singers and guitarists, and everybody in that times, from the 1950s to 1990s, in their teenage want to play the guitar, and maybe the electric guitar first, not the acoustic, because acoustic guitar was really boring for people of that time. Some prefer acoustic because they just prefer another musical genre. People who wanted to make popular music or rock music, they wanted the electric guitar and its sound and its guitar effects and so on. And of course, I don't want to say that acoustic guitar is bad and that I don't like acoustic guitar, but that was not such a revolution and not such a great toy for any teen as electric guitar was, with its amplifiers, with its guitar effects, with all these cables, with all this serious feeling that you have when you're using this guitar, even if you play badly. But when you play the electric guitar, you can better see yourself on the scene, maybe on some stadium. It catalyzes your dreams, I think. That was the electric guitar in the 20th century. And the many rock legends that we know, they won't be who they are without the electric guitar. And now we have instead of ad break. While my podcast is non-commercial, I'll take a chance to recommend you someone or something to discover according to my personal taste and opinion in the instead of ad break. Today heroes are Lodger, Finnish rock band that made really good albums since 2000s. They are filled with a nice and simple harmony in music and keen irony in lyrics, which is close to a bit cynical social scream. Their music reminds me Bukowski and some kind of ideas that people keep in mind but prefer to keep silence about them. So listen to Lodger albums, and if I had to use walkie-talkie to broadcast, I would say now something like Lodger that. After all this history and breakup, I would really like to figure out why the sales of electric guitars keep falling. Let's think and give the reasons. The reason number one, different teenagers. And that's simple because teenagers are really often and always different. every generation has its own style of thinking, and so on. And every generation has its own context in which it grows up. I can't imagine myself having a portable Bluetooth audio when I was a child. And for modern kids, that's okay. They look through the apartment, they see this thing, and they think, oh, it's okay, he has the same thing that I have. We had something different, okay? The reason number 2, not too many rock stars. If you look through modern scene of popular music, not rock music has its rock star and that's fine, rock, yep. We don't have too many rock stars in mainstream. That's not cool for many listeners, for many someone. And the reason number 3, we are too electronic right now. We are too electric. We always think about our gadgets. We are always online and it maybe disturbs in some moments. We want to go out. We want to get free of this. We want to feel maybe nature. We want to go to the park and go to the countryside and play the acoustic guitar. That's ridiculous when someone plays electric guitar with small amp on batteries, or not, or is. And that's where the challenge really starts, in the situation when you can't really choose which instrument to use. I have both electric and acoustic guitar, but sometimes you should think about it. What should I take to the countryside? Should I take my amplifier or take the acoustic? Or I think later that, oh, I would like to play some blues, The challenge really exists, but how can you feel it on your skin? When you're a teen and you want to start play the guitar, you want to start to play the electric guitar or the bass, your family can tell you, okay, learn the classical guitar first. You say to them, why? I can take a teacher and he'll teach me the electric guitar. And I got the answer, oh, you should try and then decide. We don't want to waste money on some amplifiers, electric guitars, it's too expensive. Nah, that doesn't work so. Understand? I really understand this because I got this way. I have been playing on some acoustic guitar and I didn't want to, and then I started podcasting. Yep. That's why I like playing electric guitar, because I started podcasting. I like my logic during my broadcasting, really like. And I would like to a little bit recover my parents, because they really bought me electric guitar, but a little bit later, so many thanks to them. But I started with acoustic, yeah. And it's a real riddle for me that electric guitar is not modern. And I think the same story goes with the computers. When normal family got the opportunity to buy some cheap computer, it was some kind of trend. It was cool to have a computer, to have an internet. It was brand new. It was really cool. And right now, how many people regularly use their PC or Mac at home? I don't think that there are too many such people, because we are tired during work, during our activities, when we have to use a workstation, and it's a common thing. Just a screen, just a box with some metal stuff, and so on. But 20 years ago, it was a really big issue for family to purchase a computer. And 40 years ago, it was a really something cool. And does electric guitar has the same story? We should think and discuss. To make my words complete in this episode, I would like to give some stats that I've got from Statista.com. Report called Unit Sales of Acoustic Guitars in the US 2005-2019, published by a slog at the moment of the 5th of June 2020. I found that acoustic guitars had 18% higher sales than the electric guitars in 2019. Links to the stats and to the amazing Washington Post article I'll keep in the description of this episode. And many thanks to everyone that right now is with me at the end of this episode. I would be glad to get any comment from you via Twitter about the quality, about the content, about the topics of next episodes. Any your suggestions are suggested and welcome. Many thanks.